They say history is remembered in stone, in abandoned cities and crumbling monuments. Yet the oldest history of all is not written in books or carved into walls. It is written in us, in our blood. For the Basque people of northern Spain and southern France, a community already wrapped in mystery, science has begun peeling back layers no one expected. What researchers found inside this population has shaken assumptions about Europe's past and raised questions no one knew to ask. The Basques have always stood apart. Between the Pyrenees and the Atlantic, they built a world both isolated and enduring. Their language, Euskara, remains Europe's great linguistic orphan, unrelated to Spanish, French, Celtic, Germanic, Slavic, or any other branch of the Indo-European family. It is a living fossil, a voice from a forgotten age. For centuries, this fueled the legend that the Basques were Europe's oldest surviving people, untouched by time and untouched by invaders. Archaeology showed Paleolithic hunters, Neolithic farmers, and Iron Age tribes lived here. Yet none of that fully explained how the Basques held onto their uniqueness. Some said the mountains protected them. Others said their independence preserved them. Science, however, pointed to something stranger. Because there is another archive of history, one that never erodes. DNA. And when scientists began sequencing Basque genomes, they expected to find the usual European mixture of Celts, Romans, Visigoths, and later migrations. They did not. The first genetic clues. The earliest hints arrived in the late 20th century. Before full genome sequencing, researchers focused on blood groups and rare markers. One stood out immediately. The Basques carried the highest frequency of rhesus-negative blood type in Europe. A medical detail, yes, but also a genetic fingerprint that suggested unusual continuity. Then came the deeper work, comparing Y chromosomes and mitochondrial DNA. These lines show ancestry with remarkable clarity. The results shocked researchers. Basque DNA did not look Spanish. It did not look French. It didn't even align neatly with other Europeans. Instead, it reached deep into prehistory, toward the very first modern humans of Western Europe. This supported an old belief that the Basques might be descendants of Europe's Paleolithic peoples. Yet as more data emerged, the story grew more complicated. When scientists mapped ancient genomes, they noticed something striking. During the last ice age, humans survived in a handful of refuges. One of the largest was the Franco-Cantabrian region, right where Basque country sits today. It was home to the people who painted the caves of Altamira and Lascaux. When the ice melted, these groups spread out and repopulated Europe, except, it seems, in the Basque valleys. There, a portion of these ancient lineages stayed, surviving with unusual continuity. Basque DNA carries these Ice Age echoes more clearly than almost any other population. Yet the Basques were not isolated relics. Their DNA also shows the arrival of Neolithic farmers from the Near East, the people who brought agriculture. There was mixing. Then suddenly, silence. The gene flow stopped. Where the rest of Europe blended continuously for thousands of years, the Basques froze in place. They became a time capsule. Why? No one is certain. It could be the mountains, it could be culture, it could be both. But the result was unmistakable. A population that preserved genetic layers that disappeared everywhere else. The Indo-European puzzle. The biggest surprise came when scientists compared Basque DNA to the Indo-European expansions. About 5,000 years ago, people from the Pontic steppe swept across Europe, bringing new languages and a massive genetic impact. Their descendants now form the backbone of most European populations. Yet the Basques show almost none of this influence. It is as if the Indo-European wave broke against the Pyrenees and flowed around them. This helped explain why Euskara survived when dozens of other ancient European languages vanished. The Basques resisted cultural assimilation, and the DNA suggests they resisted genetic assimilation as well. But the revelation carried a deeper implication. The Basques were not a pure remnant of the Paleolithic. They were something stranger, a fusion of ancient hunter-gatherers and early farmers that then became sealed off from the rest of Europe, a snapshot of Europe before the Indo-European reshaping. What this means? The Basques challenge the old story of Europe as a place where every population was replaced again and again. Their DNA shows survival, not erasure, continuity, not collapse. They are a reminder that history is not a straight line. It is a mosaic of peoples who endured, adapted, or vanished. Some of the genetic markers in Basque DNA do not appear cleanly in any other modern group. They point to ancient communities that once populated Europe, but later disappeared everywhere except here. The Basques may be the last living carriers of bloodlines that history forgot. Ending. The revelations about Basque DNA have done more than rewrite textbooks. They have unsettled long-held beliefs about Europe's past. They revealed a population that bridges Ice Age hunters, Neolithic farmers, and a world untouched by Indo-European expansion. They showed that the oldest record of human history is not carved in stone, but encoded within us, waiting in silence. So the question is no longer just who the Basques are. The real question is what other secrets still lie buried in our blood, waiting for someone curious enough to uncover them.